What's been the biggest challenge you've encountered while executing your digital transformation strategy? Is it the people, process, technology, or some combination?
Well, with emerging technology established as a strategic way for IT leaders to build solutions on a new platform, the focus turns to the practical applications of emerging technology in IT and business operations. It's well accepted that digital transformation is less about the new technology being introduced into an organization, more about a cultural shift in the way business gets done. Successfully implementing emerging technology demands a rethinking of previous practices. Individual technologies will eventually become important in tactical discussions around building systems. But broadly speaking, though, emerging technology is already reshaping other activities. Evaluating new technology shifts from a side activity to a formal cross-departmental initiative. The role of IT in the decision-making process has been evolving over the last several years, and awareness of emerging technology is part of that redefinition. Changes to workflow have followed technology adoption since the first mainframe systems, and those changes are tied more tightly than ever to success in implementation. But more importantly, the skills needed to maximize new trends are in high demand, and properly understanding the dynamics of today's workforce is key to filling those skills gaps.
Return on investment is always a critical success factor for every initiative. How do you quantify and attribute success to efforts that may not directly impact the bottom line in the short term?
Well, the power of AI is to make cheaper, faster, and more powerful predictions that replace or augment our efforts to evaluate alternatives and make judgments. By scaling choice evaluation and automating smaller decisions, we will make better choices on the things that really matter. For businesses, this labor saver will profoundly affect the essential components of profit, cost, and revenue. You have to define those key performance indicators. There's typically a metric you're trying to optimize. You will need a benchmark of comparison. Once performance metrics are defined, you can measure that progress is being made. And these are the baselines that you establish to provide comparisons between a pre-model within machine learning and a post-model situation. One example is that a project needs to have a comprehensive understanding of the current user experience and a level of satisfaction compared to post-installation. But to make these subjective and qualitative measures is meaningful. It's essential to capture a picture of the current state of the user satisfaction, for example.
I have one last question before we wrap up. We all know that the organization is only as good as the team that you're working with. You're as good as your weakest link. What is your secret to recruiting and retaining top data talent? And what's your management style like?
All right. Well, there's 5 things I consider. So, especially in artificial intelligence, data science, emerging technologies, trying to find skilled resources is difficult. But they can be found. And I tell myself, I go out there and I look for them on LinkedIn. I will personally go out there and I will make contacts. Half my team, I recruited in that way from folks that weren't even looking for a role. I looked at their LinkedIn profile as an example, and I really thought about, is this the kind of person that might have the skill set that I want? But after that, after the education, the formal training that they have that skill set, I look for 3 things. And I tell them this. Are they curious? I look for curiosity. When you're interviewing somebody, you can ask the questions in such a way that, can you tell if somebody is about to give up? Or are they just like, oh yeah, I don't know that? No, a curious person doesn't even have that mentality. They will try and solve a problem. So that's a key characteristic or character that I look for. The second one for them is creativity. Can they take the tools that I can make available to them, and can they be creative enough to solve the problem? Okay. And then the third thing that I look for is imagination. Now that's above creativity. Can you imagine something above and beyond what you have in front of you that you can be creative with? Can you think way outside the box? So I look for those 3 characteristics. Are you a curious person by nature? Okay, it's above and beyond your skill set and your training. But are you curious? Because you will go a long way, especially in emerging technology in this field. And are you creative in the sense of, can you solve the problem with the tools that you have at hand? And yet, are you imaginative to think beyond those tools to put together a solution? Those are the kind of people that I look for. But what I offer those people is I offer them impact, meaning I will give them the opportunity to work on something that is impactful, not just for themselves, but for the company, for the world. And so we have a vision and a mission here, and I sell that to them and saying they will be a part of it. But beyond that impact of working on something that is meaningful, I give that person control. The control over, they make decisions. They're the ones who are really going to solve the problems here. And I allow them to make that timeline. I allow them to tell me what needs to be done. It's because really, I want to hire people that are going to tell me what to do, what needs to be done. I just don't want to sit there and say, here, take this work and go do it. So it's that control. And I think that's meaningful for people when they join the team. Do they feel like what they're doing, is it meaningful? Is it going to have impact? And do they have control over their own future? So those are the 5 things I look for. 3 things I need and 2 things I will give.
That's fantastic. And having a purpose and caring, and then of course the creativity, imagination, and curiosity. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you today for your time. It's been fantastic, Jarrod. I also want to thank our audience, and please be sure to visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you all and have a wonderful day.